Attention business owners and managers. Are you determined to make 2019 your best year yet? Are you tired of not showing up online where people are searching? Are you overwhelmed by digital marketing? If you answered yes to these, stop. Write this down, and after the podcast, get help. Go to SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com/Cheryl Reeve. Glory Ramsey and Successful Marketing Group will help you get found, get customers, and build your dreams. Her results are proof. After the podcast, go to SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com/Cheryl Reeve and sign up for a free 45-minute phone call and action plan with Glory. Make 2019 a huge success.
So much to get to with Cheryl Reeve on the Cheryl Reeve Show, part of the TalkNorth.com podcast network. Please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod, as well as following our individual Twitter accounts. You can probably also find us on Facebook and other places as well. But trying to beef up the Twitter following. We have future announcements we're going to make. We'll be able to announce live shows there, and maybe we'll do some giveaways in the near future. So follow us there if you get a chance. Thanks to our sponsors, SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com, Bitesquad.com, and Cara Quinn, your local realtor. Let's start here. You got a contract extension. I can't say I'm shocked, but it was interesting. The last few shows I asked you about it, you're like, you didn't sound as concerned as maybe I would have been if I didn't have a contract. Why don't you, if you don't mind, take us through your thoughts, the process, and how it came down the pike.
I've been really lucky. When I think about my first contract negotiation with the Lynx and Roger Griffith, I remember feeling like, and I think Bill Lambier helped me with this, that things just kind of take care of themselves if you keep your nose to the grind and you work. And I just told them my first contract, just give me a 1-year contract. If I'm good enough, I'm good enough. If I'm not, then we're both, we both just move on. It's not a big deal. And so they gave me a 2-year contract, my first contract, and the second year was at the club option. So it was basically a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
But I just have never kind of worked in a way that, that I fret those things. I think that those things take care of themselves. And I do believe either I'm good enough or I'm not. I communicated to Roger, I've communicated to Glenn. They're never going to have to kick me out. I'll recognize, the situation, and it'll be an easy thing. So it's never really been a contentious situation. I think there was one time that, I wanted a greater increase in salary than maybe what they were thinking. And we worked through that. And, we're both happy. My last one was with Glenn 2 years ago. And, what I communicated to him, as a general manager and as somebody who has seen a lot of contract negotiations, I really wanted to make sure that he was happy with my contract. I want to be happy with it for sure. Because when both sides are happy with it and you're comfortable with it, then it goes well. Whereas if I'm, extending Glenn in a way that he's uncomfortable, much like when a player wants a maximum contract that we're not quite, want to extend for whatever reasons, if you're forced into it, it doesn't feel as good. And typically it doesn't work out for the long term. And so, I feel like I'm pretty easy to work with. I know that Glenn certainly has been easy to work with. Literally it was a phone call. My mother-in-law was in the car and, where I'm saying, this was in the last contract. Let's do this. Okay, let's change this. Okay, good. I'll send you a contract. Boom, it's over. It's quite early. I do appreciate that Glenn, was on it prior to, it expiring in December. But, it's one of those things. It was just about, do I still want to be here doing what I'm doing? Do I still see opportunities for growth and challenges? And I think the same thing is true for Glenn. It was really short kind of considerations and kind of an easy kind of a deal. So I'm just a believer that, things always work themselves out.
Well, I'm sure, listen, you won the Executive of the Year award. You've been Coach of the Year. You've won 4 championships. I'm sure nobody's surprised that this came about. I was just always interested in the process. Do you ever worry about burnout? Because I think about coaches and burnout all the time. And, hockey's probably the most fascinating aspect of that, right? I mean, it's like somebody will get fired. They'll take a year off. They'll do whatever they like to do for a year, and they'll pop back up and they'll get hired again, and they'll go through a 3-year cycle and they get fired. It's like, there's so many sports, and the NFL is a bit the same way. somewhat Major League Baseball. It's like people get fired and they almost enjoy having the break and then jumping back into it,
Yeah.
and if you make enough money, you can afford to do that. I mean, Tibbs was never more relaxed than after he came off his 1-year sabbatical, right? So I just wonder, do you ever think about burnout? Do you do anything to prevent burnout? Do you think burnout will ever play a role in your future decision-making?
I think I've tried to be really cognizant of that. I think that's true with players and the type of coach that I am in being a driver and being demanding. That is a danger. And I think that if you look at that group in our 7 years of winning 4 championships, I think I said numerous times that there's a cost that goes with that of that level of success. And one of the big things is that. It was pretty incredible that they got up and did it every year and wanted to do it as much as I did. The things that I wanted for them, that they were, committed, for that long, because it's hard to do. I don't know the next team that will have that level of success for that long, because I know how hard it was to do, but it did come as, it took a toll. It takes a toll on your personal lives. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. And so you can't. I mean, it's uncommon. We saw it in 2018. That was year 8, where I think that kind of interested in doing other things with your life. Reality started to set in. Some of it was age and moving on to the next thing, like a Lindsay Whalen. But I think there's other people that kind of took stock of, okay, what have I sacrificed for these last 7 or 8 years, and am I willing to keep doing that? And so I think for me. I don't know any other way, and it probably on some level, I try to decompress. I try to, have those moments. I'm far better at it now than I was even 5 years ago, to try to let more in, to try to, not hang on every practice or hang on every game. I try to, I think Sill's term, was flush. I try to flush things quicker and so that I'm more enjoyable to be around for my family, for my kid, and just people around me. And so that takes a lot of work. You have to be self-aware. I'm sure that I'm not great at it. I still have a team that, my passion can wear on them. Still sent me a message congratulating me. She's like, yeah, I guess I can deal with you for a couple more years, But I think at the end of the day, I think if you enjoy what you're doing, I'm never not going to be somebody. I'm going to be competitive. I'm never not going to be somebody that doesn't want to win. I think Glenn appreciates that. But I think through the years, you don't have the energy to keep doing it the same way you did 10 years ago. And so I think I'm thankful for that. That I'm 52, and I think I have perspective on things, maybe not where I want to be, but I think those things can help you avoid the level of burnout that you're talking about.
And
I don't seek retirement. I don't think about those kind of things or think about doing something else, at least not yet.
It was obvious by the end of Lindsay's career, she was pretty much done being a basketball player. And I always wonder, and this might not be something you want to get into because I know some of your conversations with Maya are very private, but I always wonder if Maya, if a small part of her decision to go away from basketball and do something else might have been brought on by burnout and playing a lot of games over, the full year for a number of years. I don't say that to take away from her willingness to go out in the world and do something good for our society. I think it's a great thing, but I also wonder if maybe she needed a little break from basketball.
Yeah, and I've always said this, that being Maya Moore is difficult, and one of the greatest quotes that Maya shared with me when we were working through whatever season it was. I think it was 2014, and we were going through some difficulties or whatever. What we viewed as difficulties. We still won 25 games that year, but the ups and downs of a season. And I remember Maya just kind of shaking her head, going, "Our normal is not normal." Like our what we all wanted for ourselves in this high level, like we averaged 25 wins for those years. That's crazy. I mean, 20 was the mark, and Lindsay Whalen always reveled in that. When we would get to 20 wins and we still have, 8 games to go type of thing. And, before she was hurt in 2017, I think we were 18-2. And so we just, our normal was difficult to reach every day. And so I think, yes, absolutely. I think that, there's a factor for all of them, including Maya, it's hard. You did for 7 years, and then like you said, Maya goes and she's got to go be Maya Moore in China, and and then all that goes with having that name and being pulled in different directions, and I think Maya, what really she did was took stock of again that toll of, okay, I've missed a lot here. Maya's she turned 30 in June, and you look around and you see your family doing things, your friends doing things that you kind of go, okay, now wait a second here. So I absolutely think that that there's some small part in there that was an opening, where this is maybe a good time, that that the physical and mental drain of being a 4-time WNBA championship, and she knows every time she comes back that Cheryl Reeve is going to make sure that we're gonna try to win another one, and so absolutely, I think there's no shame in saying that absolutely would be a factor.
And the reality of jobs in your industry and jobs in a lot of other industries, including mine, is if Maya Moore goes out and has a bad game, that's a subject. This is a subject for anybody who's covering that game, anybody who's paying attention to the WNBA, anybody who wants to criticize the WNBA. Whereas, let's be honest, in other walks of life, you can kind of get through a bad day and nobody really notices. Being in the spotlight has got to be draining.
It is, and it's a charm life, and that's the thing. I mean, I feel like lately, like an Andrew Luck, or obviously Maya stepping away, last season, that it's kind of the athletic life, it's kind of, I think, was being portrayed in a negative light. It's a very charmed life to be Maya Moore, to be Andrew Luck, but they're individuals with their own lives that they're leading, and values, and priorities, and things that they want to do. And that's where I think Maya just is different. And I can't speak to the Andrew Luck situation. His injuries were involved there, but for Maya, she's always had a pull for other things. Always. I think Gino could tell you that back in college. That she was just different. Our players, as this kind of all came to light when I was talking with each of them, that there's a couple of years ago, prior to, even the 2018 season, that, that they saw, different things from Maya, and Maya was communicating. So they weren't surprised. But yeah, it's a charmed life for sure, but it doesn't go without a cost.
Right. Yeah, that's very well said. You know what? I have a bunch of subjects I want to throw at you. We're not going to get to them all today, but that's okay, because we're going to be doing shows from here on out, so we can always save some of the juicier things for down the road. I'm just going to thank all of our sponsors right here, kind of take care of everybody. Thanks to thank you to Gloria Ramsey of SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com. If you go to SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com/Cheryl Reeve, you'll get a free 45-minute action plan. Gloria knows what she's doing. She has grown her own business, in part through her own marketing, as well as just a lot of hard work. She works really hard for her clients. She can help you whatever industry you're in. She specializes in smaller or medium-sized businesses. You don't want to go to some billion-dollar enterprise and become number 82nd on their list. You want personal accountability. You want personal service. Someone who will cater to your exact needs, whether you're a dentist or a plastic surgeon, heating and cooling company, auto repair company. She can find people in your neighborhood. She can find people who are logical to come to you. So go to SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com to check out her business and add the /Cheryl Reeve to get a free 45-minute action plan. We highly recommend it. Also want to thank Cara Quinn, CARAQUINN. You can reach her. You can find her on Facebook, Zillow, or Instagram. You can reach her at cara@brickandbanister.com, or you can call her at 612-203-7657. Part of her bio, she says that she lives in the Tangletown neighborhood of Minneapolis. She runs and bikes around the lakes and the parkways. She walks across the Stone Arch Bridge at sunset, which is something I used to do when I lived downtown. She loves the local food scene, and sometimes she can be spotted driving around her little Fiat convertible with her Great Dane in the back seat. I would do that, except my dog is a French bulldog. He wouldn't be able to see anything. But Cara, she's one of us, for lack of a better phrase. She lives in Minneapolis. She knows the local scene. She appreciates the finer architecture and the cooler neighborhoods. Check her out. Find her at cara@brickandbanister.com. Lastly, Bitesquad, bitesquad.com. The promo code is TALKNORTH. And also go to Bitesquad.com. They always have extra specials that might serve you even better than our promo code, and we appreciate them sponsoring us. So I saw you tweet the other day. It's part of my show prep is going through your Twitter feed because you always come up with really good topics. And you tweeted about junior women's